Right now on KGW News at noon, Multnomah County releasing its budget for 2026, what programs have to go and why economic growth remains stalled. A plus.
We're now turning the lights on and everybody can see that it's an elephant, and how do we deal with the thing that we see now?
From potholes to buildings, Portland is facing a maintenance backlog of more than $1 billion. One city employee calls the status quo a game of whack-a-mole. And later, it's a chain of living liver donations connected by kindness. The touching moment when all 5 donors met the 5 patients they got to save. Your News at Noon starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm China Green. Some major cuts are included as part of Multnomah County's budget that was just released this morning. The county is facing a $77 million budget shortfall for the upcoming fiscal year. Some of the cuts include elimination of 102 full-time positions. Programs including going away include a campaign finance program, the Nurse Family Partnership Program, and Passport and Photo ID program. The county vows to continue supporting homelessness services, behavioral health resource centers, and the public libraries.
Our community is facing a grim economic forecast with fewer dollars to spend on things our families and neighbors need. We're required to make tens of millions of dollars in cuts compared to our last year's budget. I'm prioritizing direct services that are most impactful and effective for people struggling to make ends meet, who are homeless, who are ill, have disabilities, have no access to other care.
Faye Peterson says economic recovery in the county remains stalled, and a rise in downtown office vacancies mean lower than expected property tax revenues. And now to your other local headlines. A teen accused in a deadly street takeover crash is expected to take a plea deal later today. The takeover happened last November on North Marine Drive and North Ledbetter Road. Investigators say 19-year-old Juan Medina Dominguez was doing donuts when his car flipped onto its side, killing 17-year-old Cameron Lively, who was in the passenger seat. According to court documents, Dominguez could be looking at about 3 years in prison, followed by 5 years probation. Multnomah County is opening up 13 new sobering beds at a temporary location on Southeast Sandy next Monday. They'll be the county's deflection center in the Buckman neighborhood. The facility is open 24/7 and serves as a drop-off point for law enforcement to bring people who are under the influence. A more permanent center is expected to open in the fall of 2027 on Southeast Grand Avenue with up to 50 beds. A new audit found Portland is facing $1.4 billion in backlog in the city repairs. We're talking everything from playgrounds to potholes. Catherine Cook has those details.
When it comes to city maintenance, Portland is $1 billion in the hole, potholes included. And that number isn't just a pot shot, it's real. According to a new audit, it's what Portland's facing every year, up to $1.4 billion to catch up on needed repairs.
It's a number that is so big that it risks kind of not meaning anything.
Casey Jones is the city's audit services director. He says their findings show the city's old form of government is one reason for the backlog. For decades, city executives were in charge of individual bureaus instead of taking a broad look at how best to maintain all the city's assets. Jones says that includes everything from aging community centers to streets and sidewalks and things you can't see, like sewer pipes. The auditor's office found that a street in good or fair condition costs a lot less to repair than those in poor condition.
There hasn't been anybody looking at the whole problem. We're now turning the lights on and everybody can see that it's an elephant, and how do we deal with the thing that we see now?
My mantra has really been back to basics and prioritizing taking care of the assets that we have in our city.
This week, Portland City Councilor Olivia Clark drafted a citywide strategy for asset management. She shared it with other members of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, hoping for feedback on how it might work as an ordinance.
This will help us get a handle on those liabilities.
How do we deal with the deferred maintenance that comes along with our assets so that we're not basically tripling the cost over time?
For their report, the auditor's office surveyed city employees working in asset management. One person said, quote, "We are great at buying shiny new things, but we are not good at maintaining, operating, and renovating the assets we already have. So then the assets end up making the decisions for us when they fail, and we must decide to replace them or not. It becomes a game of whack-a-mole." Jones says their efforts won't end with this audit.
So we'll come back next year, say, how are you doing on the things that you said you would do?
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
And this comes as the city of Portland faces a $93 million budget shortfall. The city administrator, Michael Jordan, announced that he is targeting a 20% cut across core city services in the next fiscal year. Now, those include communications, engagement, equity, human resources, technology, procurement, and finance. Yeah. All right, headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather. But first, we're taking a look at this beautiful look from our Wells Fargo Skycam. Happy, clear, sunny.
Your type of day, right?
Yes.
We've been watching some clouds along the coast, but in Lincoln City, the clouds have kind of been coming in and backing off, coming in and backing off. Here's the Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. It's 50 degrees, so running relatively cool. The Astoria column camera, you get up north of Lincoln County, it's just been clear. There's the Astoria-Meckler Bridge, and a little bit warmer with the sun, 56 degrees. China showed you the clear skies over Portland. Here's the Chehalem tasting room camera down in Sherwood, 65 degrees, and with the clear skies, or mostly clear skies over Portland, we're at 66. So we seem to be on track to, easily warm up into the 70s. If we hit 78 and stop there, it will be 5 degrees warmer than yesterday and 1 degree shy of 79, which has been the warmest temp we've had so far this month. 71 degrees at 8 o'clock. We do start the chance of increasing cloudiness and at least a shower pattern that could get into some of our area. That begins overnight tonight. We'll take a look at that in my complete forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rod. In developing news, the city of Portland is targeting a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. The city says scammers took over $6 million that was meant for the Bull Run filtration project. The city had filed a lawsuit in New York to attempt to recover those funds, but court documents says a scammer manipulated the city into changing the bank account information on file. And the city says that along with the FBI that they traced the stolen money to an account owned by a New York law firm. Now the law firm, the city says, provided information that was also a victim of fraud. So now if this sounds all familiar, the city was also targeted in 2022. A Florida woman admitted to being part of a scheme that resulted in a $1.5 million loss for the city. Investigators say in that case, a city email account was hacked using malware, and that allowed scammers to misdirect funds meant for a housing project. In your national headlines, a federal judge blocked Trump administration directives that threatened to cut federal funding for public programs with DEI programs. In February, the Department of Education told schools that they needed to end these practices. And earlier this month, the department ordered states to gather signatures from local schools certifying compliance. The lawsuit argued that the orders were, quote, unconstitutionally vague. And an update to the ongoing trade war after President Donald Trump suggested the U.S. is in active negotiations with China. Chinese spokesperson denied that in a daily briefing today, saying that the two countries are not having any consultation or negotiations on tariffs. And the U.S. had imposed 145% tariff on imports from China, while China hit back with 125% tariffs on U.S. products. In the meantime, Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield has joined AGs from 11 other states who are suing the Trump administration over the president's tariff policies. Now, the suit claims that these tariffs should not go into effect without constitutional congressional approval. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield says that these tariffs will cost the average Oregon family around $3,800 annually. Some Portland business owners say that they're unsure if they'll be able to stay afloat.
95% of the cost of tariffs will be passed through to domestic consumers, and that's you and me. It's effectively a tax that all of us are going to be paying.
It's going to be hard on me to make decisions whether I can stay in business. Can I weather this storm? I don't know.
The Trump administration says it's committed to addressing a national emergency that's leaving American workers and industries behind. After 5 difficult years, Mayor Keith Wilson says it's time for downtown Portland rebirth. The mayor joined other city leaders and business owners yesterday to talk about the big events coming to downtown over the next few months. They include the One Motorcycle Show the first weekend of May, the Portland Pride Waterfront Festival and Parade later this summer, and the Project Pabst Music Fest.
You can feel the buzz in the air when the parade comes around the corner, for example, right? You can feel the buzz in the crowd. The electricity just is off the charts.
Oh, we've got, our headliners are going to be Iggy Pop on day 1, Death Cab for Cutie on day 2. We've got Devo.
The president of Portland Metro Chamber says so far this year, 20 retailers have opened or announced plans to open in downtown.